ain't got it. Broke, five broke. We ain't got it. Don't spend no money, ain't got no clothes, ain't got no cars, ain't got no hoes. We broke. Ladies and gentlemen, you're now listening. 1, 2, broke. We ain't got it.
Check 1 2 3 4 5. Welcome to it. We're back again with a fresh new episode. My name is Danny that guy, aka Denias, aka the only guy, aka your girlfriend probably pities me, aka Dan More. When you look inside my wallet, it's more like Dan Less.
That's right. And he's here with the one and only, the unmistakable, the irrefutable, the unquestionable, most surely could be doctorable, and none other than your boy Phil Chard, aka Flame Lost the Big Boss Baby, aka Pizza P, aka Sexington Glovo, aka DJ Mukarat, aka Shamari Itengero Dringe. What's going on, Dan?
Chillin', man, chillin'. Quite excited, really.
Oh.
Yeah, because I have my boss in the studio, eh?
Oh, really, dude?
Yeah, right. So we just have to speak in a language that she understands. Hello, Ruvheneko.
Hello.
Yes, we have pulled off a coup. We've got Ruvheneko, who's not been heard on mic for a very long time.
It's been a long time. I actually feel weird sitting in here.
Yeah, is it difficult for you?
It actually is. It's kind of emotional. The tears are close. So don't get too sensitive, you know.
Yeah, no.
It's almost like she doesn't have to go into a building with a studio and microphones every day.
It's almost like she doesn't control what goes on air every day.
It's so weird. It's almost like she never spent, I don't know, maybe 4 years on radio.
No, but guys, it's different. You know, when you're watching and listening to radio, it's different. You know, when you are radio versus when you are listening, it's a whole different world.
Plus, right now it's a lot different because you don't have Mona Lisa to go look into the meat box right now.
Very funny.
So,
you are a funny guy. I thought you would have cited my last interview, but that was the second last one.
Oh, we'll get there. I will get there. All right. Anyway, no, Ruvheneko knows what Two Broke Twimbos is, I think, and
does she then? Does she?
She does. Phil accused me of not having told you about it.
No, I know a lot more than you think, Phil.
Shots. Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, just like how, you know, we want you to guys have more sensitive content that we can even air on ZFM. I mean, it's stuff we can talk about.
All of this can be aired. Obviously, this episode can't be aired because you're not allowed on ZFM. But like the other episode.
Oh! Wow! I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to this, Phil. You're going to have to help me out. Because like you said, you know, on the other hand, I could pull rank. But on the other hand, I could just be me, you know? I don't know.
The two words you're looking for here are plausible and deniability.
It's difficult, though, because this is on record. So.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, look.
I'm going to be cool.
I can get away with a lot because Ruvheneko loves me. So,
unfortunately.
Yes, I say all sorts of things all the time. And I
can't decide.
Look, I'm very confused because I just bought a new laptop. So
Yay!
In the background,
oh my God, Phil, Dan has been so broken down, like his old laptop. You know, he literally couldn't function. He had nothing. Like his life was over. It's like freaking you not having a cell phone. I don't know, like just couldn't function.
It was time. It was
Eesh, I felt so bad.
I think as long as I've known Danny's had that Toshiba.
Do they still make Toshiba?
Look, guys, that
is it
laptop...
Y2K compliant?
Oh wow!
I mean, like, what's going on here?
Oh, man. Jokes. Okay, no, that one will come back. Look, okay, before we go any further, you'll just be hearing weird sounds in the back as I try and figure out how to
operate your new baby.
Obviously, when I say new, I mean second hand. And obviously, I'm not going to be saying the serial numbers on air because, look, it might just be in your missing...
I was going to say, like, did you get that police cleared? Because Zimex Mall is still a real thing, you guys.
I bought this from a reputable company, I'll have you know. It's called the Gadget Zone.
Are you being serious?
I'm being 100% serious. They have the most fire Facebook page and they have like a bunch of white people.
The Gadget Zone, like the Z Saturday Zone with the most fire Facebook page, like Fire Friday. Phil, do you think Dan knows any other vocab?
Let me when did this become an ad? I don't understand.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I told them, listen, I got a sweet discount because I told them that I would plug them in Two Broke Twimbos. Now look.
Okay, they're plugged. There we go.
I got a $10 discount.
That's decent airtime to phone. I'm just going to keep myself calm.
Anyway.
We are live and stuff.
So Ruvheneko, I mean, look, you're the topic of the main interest right now because you're our guest. I just want to let you know that former guests that we've had on Two Broke Twimbos went on to have stellar careers. So now that yours is tanking, it could be an opportunity. It could be an opportunity to.
I get that, to stay relevant.
Yeah,
and
AKA
to
won so many
relaunch.
awards just because he was on Two Broke Twimbos. Casper Nyovest went on to fill up the Dome, and now he's going to fill up Orlando Stadium. And I think he says in his credits that it's all because of Two Broke Twimbos.
So what can I expect out of this? I mean, what's the next step for me?
Who knows? I don't know. I don't wanna jinx it, but
I mean, what do you think? I mean, there you are.
Let's talk about the
know.
first step.
Which is
Your first step. Now I know your natural inclination is to be the one running the interview. So this is not an interview. This is just a discussion. So
we're just chilling, right?
small. Yeah. So tell us how it all began. How media began for you.
To be honest, actively, it started in university. I would listen to 5FM, Gareth Cliff, every morning when I was getting ready for lectures.
Did you go to Monash?
What would I be doing there?
Okay, all right. Sorry, go on.
What would I? Okay, no. Respect to Monash or Monash? Monash?
It's fine.
Monash.
It's fine.
They don't even know because they don't spend that much time trying to learn how to pronounce words.
Yeah, or to spell them.
Wow.
They got more important things, fam.
Are they the ones that spell WAL? WAAL?
I think that's where it started.
All right, cool.
And kiki.
But wait, no Monash slander. That's where Boiti went. I was watching her on Ridiculousness Africa yesterday. Whew. I had it on mute. Man.
Yeah, you needed to, because clearly. No, that's absolutely not nice. Anyone who went to Monash, enough respect to you. I was just playing with Dan and Phil. So I went to UCT and I would listen to 5FM. And then in my second year, I decided to go and apply at UCT Radio. I'd always walk past it because it was in our social science building. And I'd always be like, I wonder. And it just looked so cool. There was like graffiti on the window. It was just like a world, you know. And just the step in there was literally where it all began. And I met the station manager and I was like, yo, I want to do a talk show, you know. And I always did want to do talk. I could never really imagine myself playing music and all that. I think I've always wanted to get deep into conversation. So I applied and then I went through the audition process. I did my graveyard shift for like 2 months. And then I just have to walk to the radio station at 2 a.m. until 5 a.m. and then get back to res and then get ready for lectures. And it was good. And then
what were you
started.
studying, if you don't mind?
I did a BA in media and political science. So media is equivalent to journalism.
All right. Because someone asked me the other day, is like, does Ruvheneko even have a degree in journalism?
Wow, I know. People have feelings about how I conduct certain interviews.
Yeah, and then I was like, yes, but I didn't know. So I spoke very...
You didn't know?
I don't know your life, Ruvheneko.
No.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, and that was it. So I did talk shows twice a week on UCT Radio for 2 hours, and it was good. I think that's where I found my voice, literally, and I realized that this is way up my alley, and I liked it. You know, you get to the bottom of things, you interview people. No, but you are the police. How come? You know, and it was really good. Like nothing could stop me then. So,
any notable interviews from those days?
Nah, not like, it was never on that level. It was like maybe like CPS, you know, sort of our campus protection unit, like, you know, the sergeant in charge, or nobody sort of national, not on that level, no. So it all really started on that level here in Zim.
Okay.
My station.
All right. So in the time period between, because you're my age. I remember you from high school. Let me tell you about Ruvheneko in high school.
Oh my gosh, Dan.
So,
okay, Phil.
I didn't really know Ruvheneko very well.
Phil,
I remember I was with my boys the one time.
I'm here. I'm just listening. I'm letting Dan speak. Because
Why are you letting him speak? Do we want to hear this?
And we have what we call a symbiotic relationship. I allowed Dan the platform. See what I did there? To speak and share his opinions.
Woo! Go, Dan.
Anyway, so high school. I remember we used to, obviously, because I mean, cool kids, chichi, what. You know, we used to.
There you are, Phil. There you are.
So we used to frequent Anna Arundel, Chispiti, Chichi, whatever. So I remember went to Cheesy School the one time, and a friend of mine was feeling you or whatever, I don't know. And
who was your friend?
That's not important.
Oh, tell me. It's all in the past. He's probably married with like 7 kids.
No,
so
he's
what?
not. And
I am. So
You know who it is actually because he sometimes comes to visit me here. Anyway,
Who is it?
So he came and he was just like, he was like, yo. And you had
said,
this
yo.
whole... No, I don't know what he said, man. That was how old are we? We're old. And you were very much, don't talk to me. Push kadada.
Push kadada.
Talk to the hand because the face
ain't home. Leave a message at the tone, beep. Yeah, one of those.
And
really?
What's
I? Maybe I was busy. He probably caught me at the wrong time.
Yeah, and then when I first met
Had you come for debate, senior debate?
Rudo's house, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't put the two and two together that I knew you from back then, and we had all sworn to hate you forever.
I remember. Wow.
But
because I said I'm busy. I remember meeting you and Phil at Rudo's house, and I was like, "Oh, you're Phil Chad from Twitter, and you're Danny, that guy from Twitter." So you don't know how happy I was that day. I was like, "Wait, it's both of you in one place." I was like, "What do you even mean?" That was when Zim Twitter was like so small. Do you remember when we all knew each other and we actually had real raps on Twitter?
It was a bit too small.
It was nice though, and we would follow each other's like conversations like legit. Tara, tag, copy, reply.
And we knew each other's lives intimately.
It was nice.
I told you the other day that I was going through the DMs that you and I had.
It goes down in the DMs.
Yes.
What went down there?
Oh no, we were talking about other people, but still it was very. I don't know if you want me to mention it. We were talking about an ex of yours. Look,
look, I mean, let's just keep moving. But basically the DM is exactly that, for exactly that reason that we're not going to do that. But it was actually a monumental moment meeting. I remember we were standing outside.
Do you remember Phil?
Yeah, yes, actually do. We just snuck into Rose.
That was like such
bride.
A cool kids party though.
It was a legendary prize. Shout out to Rudo's dad.
Dope.
He's a legend.
My way, through and through.
Yeah. Shout out to...
I believe at that event, a grown man referred to Dan as a yellow bone, which caught me off guard.
Was yellow bone already flying those days?
No, but it was strictly for women. Like, that was the first time I heard a man being called a yellow bone.
But was the term yellow bone already there? That was like 4 years ago,
We break barriers, son.
These yellow people.
The pioneers, that's what we are.
Rudo's dad sent me an audition tape.
Huh?
You know how he's a DJ.
Oh, yes. He shouted out on that party. Shout out to him and Trickster.
And he switches off the lights and they have a smoke machine in their living room. Hakuna vanu vakadaro, please. Hey.
All right.
Love
Okay, those were the early days. Then you came to Zim. What did you do first? Did you straight away get into radio?
When I moved out, because when I left UCT, my first job was at GQ magazine. Then I moved to Johannesburg and I worked for
as a model.
Basically. And I worked for the African Leadership Network. And then I moved to Zim. So when I moved to Zim, I wasn't yet back. I was actually on holiday. And then I got to talking to a few people who were telling me that, that Super is starting this radio station. And then I tried to set up a meeting with Super, but he was just too busy, And just as I was about to go back, finally we managed to meet. And I spoke to him and I said, look, well, this is what I did. It's my background and it's what I'm interested in. So how far? And my first pitch to him was actually to do a show like The Platform. And much like most men that are that age and that are journalists, he looked down on me on a sort of, sweet. You really think you can do a show like that? What are you, like 21? Get out of here. He made me feel so small. He was like, no, what we can do is we can start you on a youth program. Maybe you can talk about some health, okay, some high school issues. And then maybe as you grow, we can, okay, he doesn't talk like that, shit. But, he was like, no, maybe later you can, explore and all that. So he basically shut me down and I was quite hurt. I remember going back to my dad and I was like, this dude, like, really?
Please, can you punish him, Kubasa or something?
No, they weren't even working together at that time.
Okay.
Super was strictly still a journo, you know, and I was devastated actually, only to then see the lineup when we were now done with the lineup, because we were all part of that process, right?
Yeah.
The auditions, the interviews, the setting up the program, the schedule. And I remember seeing the schedule and it said Super head on. So he had given himself the show that I wanted, bruh. And I was like, who do you think you are, the boss?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and then, eventually life happened as it happened, and then he had his national call to duty, and then the gap was open, and then I guess by virtue of him knowing that's where I always wanted to be, he gave me a shot at it. And
but you sort of, before that, you sort of shadowed him on that.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was his producer, so I was sort of, I learned so much.
You were his
on
Mona
how
Lisa.
to put exactly. What is...
Okay.
I miss something?
Wait, before you go any further, this is
Phil?
Phil was unaware. Okay, we should discuss this off.
We'll discuss it later.
No, tell me
off
now.
mic. Oh no, it's not. Phil was unaware of. Big up to Mona Lisa. She does a great job producing, but he was unaware that she's got history with. Look, you know what?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, wonderful.
So he was out here tweeting like a fool and a savage, and every time the name comes up, it's just very funny between us because of Phil's foolishness.
No, I get it. Yeah, so I produced for him and I learned a lot. I learned so much. He was not nice, very difficult man to please in terms of how he wants things done and what he thinks is a international standard. He'd always repeat the fact that ZFM is international. This research, there was days he would throw the research back at me and be like, what is this? So you seriously think I'm going to go in a show with this, eh? So he really taught me a lot, and I appreciate that today. So that's how it happened. And then the platform was born, and well, here we are.
Okay. All right. Phil, I don't know if you have any questions as an outsider before I push forward.
Oh, Phil, you're not an outsider. We love you.
It's okay. I've learned to deal.
Yeah,
I think we kind of jumped.
Yeah, we've moved forward quite a
we
bit.
really jumped from she as far as you're concerned, she literally just appeared in high school when your thirsty friends were trying to holler at her. But we need to delve deep into the issue, Dan. What makes Ruvheneko tick? What are her interests? What are her passions?
What are your favorite flowers?
My favorite flowers? Because I've got allergies. I don't like anything that has obvious pollen, like daisies and all that. I love what do I like? I like lilies. Those are simple.
I thought you were going to say a bouquet of $100 bills.
No,
That's nice too.
I'm not that kind of girl, fortunately. Proteas I also like a lot because they last a long time. So I'm not...
I thought you were going to say, give me a bouquet of flame lilies. The hell with the environment.
No, basically, no.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
Aren't those extinct now?
Endangered.
Almost. They're endangered, but not yet gone.
I saw one in the Eastern
I saw one.
Highlands.
Really, the place is so beautiful. Okay, in terms of things that make me tick, the Eastern Border Highlands make me tick. Like I love Vumba is my favorite place to be in Zim. So beautiful, tranquil, just green and lush and quiet and peaceful and majestic. It's just perfect.
Speaking of Eastern Highlands, that's Phil's backyard. His general begging area.
Yeah.
We used to go to the Eastern Highlands to make noise.
Really? What?
Ironically enough.
He's so silly. You're an idiot. We don't. Yeah, no, that's definitely like that. Tick. Yeah, tick. It's my birthday tomorrow. So I'd wanted to go there on Friday with my girlfriends and just have some time out, spend the weekend there, sort of just bug out the phones and just have like a good time. But it didn't work out because there's other plans and some of them are working, some are out of the Harare, so it just didn't work out. But
plus you're married, so
yeah, he's on some, I want to surprise you, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, you will see how that goes. Please know there will be an image of something that'll depict my feelings of the surprise. I don't like surprises because I'm very particular. Even if I think the thought is sweet, but please don't think that you know what I need.
Phil, abort.
Yeah. That doesn't make me tick. You said what makes you tick. That does not. A bad surprise.
How old are you turning?
And do we're the same age. This guy thinks he knows, so we don't disclose things like that.
Right.
So you're 17?
Speaking of which,
Kunana 28, 29.
Oh, I'm in.
So okay,
I'm in.
Cool. Anyway, I know Phil. To be 100% honest, okay, this is gonna be seemingly a personal question.
Okay.
And you're very welcome to turn it down and whatever, but. You are the daughter of a minister. Yes.
Yeah.
Are there any peculiarities unique to growing up in such a household that you would perhaps have noticed later on, looking back, that, you know what?
Yeah, I think definitely in retrospect, because in it you don't realize, you just think you're very normal and your life is very normal to have like dudes with the AK-47s at the gate and have like a driver pick you up from school and have to go to a lot of state functions as though it's part of your genuine calendar. Like there were actually public holidays in our home that were like actually taken like Christmas. Heroes, you know, it just became a part of you, where I've got some friends today that have never in their lives been to the Heroes Acre for anything, you know, or gone to celebrate, you know, Independence Day. So I think looking back, things like that for me are so normal, you know, where the minute Heroes and Defence Forces comes, we have family flying in from South Africa, from wherever they are, so that we can all come together as a family and, you know, commemorate obviously Sekuru, but also be there, you know. And so things like that, yeah. I mean, the average person does not have to go through that, but that's been a part of my life for the 20 whatever years I've been alive. And it's things like that. But generally, I think a lot of people have such misconceptions about what it's like. And
no, I was going to say, I mean, a lot of people, and especially now when there's a lot of conversation about politics and so on, there's a lot of people who will say, but mwana wa minister or whatever.
It's actually very dangerous right now being affiliated to my dad, because you suffer so much because of who your father is. Not by any hand of mine has the health delivery system come to what it has come to. Not by my efforts has our economy come to what it's come to. But you find that any target that people can access, they'll take advantage of it. So there's those very uncouth people that will just blast you in your inbox. They'll send you hate mail. They will write to you. They will Facebook you. They will tweet you. And it's just up to you to just keep sane. I think that I made a decision a long time ago to not be that girl that intervenes or that tries to defend or fights or gets angry, because once you become like that, you show people that no derereka almost, you know. So when you ignore them, you almost reduce them to nothing and just say, I will not dignify that, you know. And you have to be tough about it, because anything I do say reflects on him. And right now he's there, whether people like it or not, whether I like it or not, but he's there, and I have to respect his office. And I'm not going to be any reason or any cause for him to come out in any dubious headlines because mwana taurisa. Like, what for? So for now, I'd rather not, which infuriates a lot of people, because sometimes I'm on the edge of commenting and I'll say something very cryptic or ambiguous.
Oh, we understand it.
You know, and those that understand it. But others be like, hey, history will judge you. History will be unkind to you. Hey, chi. And I'm like, I don't need this. You have no idea what I want to say right now. But my father is my father. I am more loyal to him as my father than anybody in this country. So people's opinions of trying to wind me up, be like, Ruvi, tauraka. It's not going to work, because ndi baba wangu, dada, anditi. And I love him for who he is as my dad. His work, I might not always agree with it, but I respect him. So we leave it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very good point. Like, what is that moral dilemma like, if you can call it a moral dilemma, but where you find yourself having to defend your dad, because at the end of the day, he's your dad.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You also feel that maybe if I do speak up about this, it might affect him. What goes through your mind when especially recently, when things on social media have started bubbling up?
Like I'm saying, I don't get involved, Phil, because once I do, my dad can handle his own business, first of all. Anyone who's going to tweet me about my father's issues and politics is also not on the kind of level that either of us deserves to, should honor him with. You know, it's such a trivial platform to engage on serious issues. So I'm not his spokesperson. My father can handle his own business, quite frankly. And if he needs my help, he would ask me. And the only time I did feel 100% compromised was when I was doing the platform. Because I would interview his colleagues. And once I interviewed him. And it was a fine line between, minister, he's my dad. But like, dude, do you know that there are people dying every day in your hospitals because of negligence? Do you know that there's no water? Okay. Do you know that people are not getting treated because they can't pay? Like real life things, guys, where I can't defend that, Phil. No, mira papi. So the compromising part came where I had to interview his colleagues on equally devastating issues, like I've just cited as an example for the health ministry, and he would get backlash. He would listen. He would send me messages during my shows, after my shows, sometimes not an approval, sort of saying you went too far, but naturally. But my father and I respect each other's zones in that regard, and he gives the best advice, and he also lets me be me. But when he needs to really rein me in, I can tell when it's like, look, this is imminent danger. You know, there's times I do need to heed his advice, but generally he's so supportive, and I think it's also equally hard for him to be like, you know, he doesn't need that, but he respects that. It's what I love to do. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're almost perfect for that role of whereas on one hand some people would say obviously there's a bias because one or minister or whatever, but at the same time it also gives you a little bit of a platform to speak on. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the right word to say
are you
is.
bringing that whole I get away with certain things because my dad's a minister?
Maybe not get away with certain things, but you know which angle to come at them from. You, like you said, you've been to state functions so much. You've seen all this happening.
I've seen the world of
yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone who only sees just the news.
I see what you mean. Yes and no. I mean, you know, there's 26 ministers. Granted, Kuwanda, but you know, so it's not 100% true or fair to say that I maybe have an inside. I won't lie. There are some that I do know personally, you know, but generally, I mean, that's like literally a handful.
But it gives you ka spice, ka ginger.
I actually don't like interviewing the ones that I know because it gives you that same situation where it's like, how do I speak to you right now? Are you uncle or are you the minister? So I prefer the ones that I don't have any, I just know by virtue of ndava more saku function because pamwe ndavaona ndinamdara, you know. But vakawanda vacho ndingati, you know, tinozivana pa level yekuti I can't go there, you know. So there is not that added advantage, that inside. You know, I think any journalist can get the inside. You don't have to be a minister's daughter to get the inside on anything. If you do your job, there's some people that know more than I do, believe it or not, because I'm also shielded from a lot.
I believe it.
You know, there's so many things like, my WhatsApp actually, there's been some groups I've been taken out of because people want to speak freely because they think I'm a mole. But time I'm like, guys, I'm just a journalist also. Can I get the scoop, you know? So it compromises my job in a lot of ways because I don't get everything. But sometimes I get things that others don't have and I can't talk about it, you know? So, it's just interesting, to be fair. You just have to know how to manage it. So, yeah.
Okay. On the other side of the spectrum, not work, now play. So, I don't know if we could call it the prevailing view or whether it's actually what's going on, but the cool kids north of Samora, the socialites of Harare, for the most part, are, or not for the most part, but for a large part, are children of ministers or nieces and nephews of ministers.
Really?
Or, if you think about it, any.
Tell me who.
Well, the Chinamasa kids, or the Parirenyatwa kids.
I mean, if you think let's kind of stop short there, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. You know, I think when we were younger,
yeah, we're still talking about younger days. We're talking about you growing up.
But what we can say is, especially in Zim is a very small nation, especially in Harare. If you're north of Samora, and there's a very, very small divide between the political elite and the financial elite. So if you're going to a private school, chances are, in your class, there's either someone who's politically affiliated or someone who owns a big franchise in Zimbabwe.
That is politically affiliated.
Or basically, or a diplomat's son or something.
No, I get what you mean. All right. Yeah. Okay, so back to the question. Yeah, what were you going to ask?
Yeah, so basically I'm saying what then happens is now you have this case where the socialites,
right? Not
all of them naturally, not even half of them, whatever, but a good chunk of them are children of ministers. Now, I remember not too long ago, it was after Zanele's death, Jonathan Moyo's daughter. There was a lot of talk afterwards from a lot of angles about, the children of ministers and so on. You don't need to be so visible. You don't need to be out there. You don't need to be seen partying or things like that. Having grown up as a child of a minister, would you have any comments on such kind of views? Or do you think that, look, in my father is my father, even Malia Obama sometimes twerks?
I think it's absolutely unfair to judge children based on who their parents are. But I fully understand that society will have expectations or perceptions of kids of public figures, right? Be you the child of a prophet, a pastor. You know, it's the same kind of pressure that pastors' kids have, actually, where if your father is A, B, and C, you're expected to be A, B, and C. So I don't think it's fair to judge children of public figures in a certain way because they're still children. And I think what we as children of public figures need to be wary of is what we put in the public eye, especially in a sensitive political environment. There's no need to flaunt anything that you have that people think you don't deserve. There's no need to be seen doing useless things that don't empower, that don't liberate, that, you know what I mean? Like,
This is a viewpoint of someone who's almost 30. I mean,
yeah, but okay. So when you say kids, I thought I'm speaking from a personal perspective. I was younger, I lived young. Like even my father let me be a kid, but there was times where he would rein us in, and you wouldn't understand why one's no kwenda kwakati. But now, Gaya, you're like, okay. So they do have a level of protection over us, and I think if parents have an open enough relationship with their kids, we can understand it. But I think kids of public figures should also do things that are valuable. That if you're going to be on Twitter or be seen in any tabloid or on any WhatsApp group, let it be for something that's edifying. I think we sometimes overdo the rebellion and sort of like, yeah, no, so what? You know, I still want to be me, you know. I think sometimes you must just be respectable and respect what your family has built. If it's a family name, if it's a legacy, if it's your father or mother who's doing something that's, you know, something that the nation appreciates, or even if now when things are a bit hazy politically and people are not celebrating, just zikamao, you know, don't be out there and don't give people something to talk about because they will talk. They will. On my way. You've
had your fair share,
Ish, you know. But that's the stuff that makes you.
Haven't we all?
Haven't we all?
Yeah, it's rough. Shame.
Just the other day, someone told me my shoes were not polished.
I was looking at your shoes now, actually, and I was like, I love your socks because I love polka dots, and they're very hard to come by.
Dan, wait. Sorry, Ruvi. Sorry, Ruvi.
What's up?
Are these black socks with yellow, purple, blue polka dots?
I cannot confirm or deny
Dan, Dan literally wears these socks every day.
Dan, let me smell your feet.
Excuse me.
Are they the same socks that you wear every day?
No.
I haven't seen Dan in
Phil,
6
maybe
months.
he bought them. They were a packet of 6.
What's wrong with you?
I go, yeah, God, is 6.
I don't wear these 6. I got pure.
Look.
What did you want the socks? Like, I mean, what? Why are you so emotional about the socks?
We're being distracted here.
This is a healthcare issue. We're talking to a Parirenyatwa. It's a very topical issue.
No, that is true, though. Do you have talcum powder in there? Like,
Look, do you want? Okay, you know what? You can smell my.
I don't know if I'm. Whoa! Wait, whoa! That's not in the studio. We don't allow that, Dan. Oh dear, Phil, look what you've done. Oh, they're even holy. You know, like when you're at the airport, like at the security check, and then that dude, like with no, just don't.
These are my favorite socks.
My mom always says wear good underwear because you never know. Like, I mean, all the time. Like, Danny, no.
My mom always said it too, like, Philip, you better wear clean underwear. What if you get run over by a bus?
It's true.
That will be the least.
It's true.
That will be the least of your problems. Hello.
No, but you know how parents put things in your head. All right.
I want to talk about the interviews that you've had.
Okay, wait. Dan,
sorry, go on. Sorry, Phil, if there's anything else.
Before we do that, I think let's touch on a critical issue. Political stuff aside, we are talking to the granddaughter of the esteemed comrade, Dr. Mr. Tichafa Samuel Parirenyatwa. I think we need to discuss the pressures that befall someone who is of the lineage of the first black doctor in Zimbabwe. I mean, what is that like? I mean, when you get a B in chemistry, I mean, what is being said at home about what you're doing with your life?
but not you know. Nah, there was you're so silly. Look, there was pressure in the family to be something, but there was never pressure in the family to be my dad or be my granddad. So that's the nice thing. My dad has always just believed in success, and he didn't mince his words, and he always tried to make sure we did have everything available to make sure we did well. Like, we know where there's just no excuse. Do you need extra lessons? Okay, so let's do it. Do you need to go to a different school? Okay, let's do it. You need books? Sure, I'll buy you. So he always made it easy enough for us to do well. It's simply out of your own doing. So the pressure, I think, befell my big brother, who's also a doctor now. So that's the third generation of Dr. Parirenyatwas, and he's currently doing his housemanship at Parirenyatwa Hospital. So the pressure, I think, would be more on the guys. I mean, the assumption is that us ladies are going to change our names. The assumption.
I will talk about that.
That we're going to change our names and all of that. And so, yeah, I mean, the pressure to succeed has always been there, which is why when I put my mind to something, I would like to always make sure I do it well. Because I do believe that I do carry a name that had legends, you know, holding that name. Enough respect to my grandfather. If there's anybody who I wish I could have met just to feel his aura, because I meet people that talk about him and I'm like, Shaga, like I wish I, you know. Then my dad, you know, before all this ZANU-PF drama, and yes, before I would say things got bad for the country, I think that in his own right, he did well, you know. And it's unfortunate. I would like to still think he's my hero, but it's hard for anybody to look good when things are so bad. So, yeah, there is pressure to make sure you be something in life. I cannot by any means fail at anything that I do. Just ajite. Like, no.
Thank you for that insightful question, Philip. I'm very impressed.
Yes, Dan. Well, when you win several awards for journalism.
Oh, dear. Look at you.
All right.
When are you coming to ZFM?
Is that to me?
I mean, no, it's to Dan, because he's got like 3 shows on ZFM already. Yeah.
Oh,
it's 2.
Well, you know.
Oh wait, is there
2?
Is there a third one?
It's 3. When you break up
secrets are
Friday.
being revealed, fam.
Oh no, Friday is the one, man.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, no, I want to talk about obviously the majority of people learned about you personally from your interviews on radio. And I think you sort of built a name for yourself by being tough and, dare I say,
people can't see you, so that doesn't work.
Yeah, no,
I'm just audio.
I'm trying very hard to be diplomatic, you see.
Just say it. I'm fine.
No, I just mean, you were very tough and much like a pit bull, an attacking, ravenous pit bull that is foaming at the mouth. And just
That's Dan. Like, you went from being diplomatic
to like,
what the hell?
No, I'm down with that. That's fine. I'm okay. I've heard worse. You know what I mean? Like, was I rabid too? Jeez.
Yeah, well, I mean,
answer my question.
Wow, Phil, really?
Where are the funds? So, wow. I mean, let's talk about some of the marquee interviews that you had. If you could let us know as well some of the big ones you had when you started on the platform. Maybe one of the ones a lot of people remember is Kasukuwere. I remember that one quite well.
Do you?
Yes, it was.
Did you vote in that election?
I didn't even hear the episode.
But you heard about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just saw the blowback.
I think that was definitely, I think because also that's the time that Honorable Mandiwanzira had just, he was going in, he had actually thrown in the towel here saying, look, I've got to go and do the politics, and he couldn't be here because of conflict of interest. And that was definitely the first big political interview that I did, big being the time in which it happened. It was 2 weeks before a national election. And each party had been given the opportunity to come and talk about their manifestos. That night, Farai Makutuya was away. And he was the one who was doing that particular series of shows about elections. It was called The Ballot Box. And I had to step in. I remember everybody from Maima Kore to Kelvin Chakachira were actually nervous for me.
Maima Kore is the CEO and Kelvin Chakachira is the head of news and current affairs.
Yes, editor-in-chief of news and current affairs, yeah. So I remember now their nerves rubbing off on me. But then I called my dad. I called my support unit and I was like, guys, I'm about to go on air and people around you are acting weird. Is it because I can't do it? Or is it because of who's coming? You know? So who was supposed to come was Professor Jonathan Moyo. And then he couldn't come. So last minute he then sent Honorable Xavier Kasukwere. And so he came and he came.
Quick sidebar. The honorary affectation, honorable, is it not meant to be used in Parliament only?
No, I don't think so. I think that because when you're a member of Parliament, you know, so honourable member, or you do hear them throw that around in Parliament. And when we write news, right, as journalists, you don't write the word honourable. But in speech, you can refer to somebody as honourable. But in a newspaper, you'd never find honourable Supermandi Wanzira. You'll find Minister Supermandi Wanzira. Okay. So yeah, but in speech, you can toss it around. It's not a biggie. But
cool.
Yeah.
It was just gnawing on my mind.
Is it one of those terms that bothers you?
It doesn't bother me. It's just I was just wondering. Yeah. But all right. Anyway, yeah. So then Honorable Xavier Kasukwere.
Yeah. So he came, and that was definitely a very, very difficult interview to do because of the simple fact that I think he expected one thing and I delivered another, because I had expectations of what that interview should be, regardless of who came. I think until the 11th hour, we didn't know who was coming from the party. So my interview was never directed at any one person. It was directed at whoever comes to represent ZANU-PF. And fundamentally, I'm a journalist, and I always want to just get to the bottom of things, regardless of who you are. So if I had given the same, you know, pitbullness to every other political party, why would I change my style because it's ZANU-PF? Doesn't work like that.
So it got pretty heated though in the studio, yeah. And there was shouting and almost name calling. What was it like in times that you were off air?
As in after interviews such as those? Just
after the interview, that particular one, for example.
That was bad for me. I got a lot of. I think people were just very confused. Because again, like I said, it was the first time that I'd handled an interview like that. And honestly, I realized what I'd done after the interview in terms of how I'd handled it. But as a journalist and everything that I'd been taught, I didn't think I'd done anything wrong. I thought I'd asked all the necessary questions. I thought I had pressed until I got an answer. I thought I had given my guest time to speak. I thought I had done my job. But because of the environment we live in, you can't separate your job from your expectations. You understand? So, you know, it was a key time for the party, and 2013 elections, like any election since 2000 really, have not been a walk in the park, you know? So it's like, you know? And I realized the environment I was operating in from that day. So I'm glad that interview happened, because it was a lesson for every other interview I was going to happen, especially political interview that was going to happen thereafter, and how I had to conduct myself. But I think I've chosen to stick to my guns. So by now, there's no need to apologize for acting a certain way, because people now know that is how I like to work, because work is work. And we can talk and tweet and, you know, support each other and go to rallies even outside of the studio. But kana tiri pabasa. And I think that people are hopefully respecting that, and that they shouldn't take it personally.
Okay.
It's never personal.
All right. Cool. You've spoken a lot of the blowback that came from your people and from maybe from ZANU-PF and whatever. But what about from listeners? Just people who are listening in. Because I feel like up to that point, there hadn't really been that kind of interview on national TV or radio in Zimbabwe.
True.
I don't know if that makes you a pioneer.
I don't know. It does it.
It was the first non-BBC interview of that nature. Really.
Yes, really.
Yeah.
And I don't want to run too far with this phrase, because she's got a big enough head as it is already.
Wow.
But you know, I mean, what were listeners, people in general, thinking?
Yeah, look, the feedback was very interesting. After receiving that negative feedback from, like you said, rightfully my people, or people within ZANU-PF, it was very interesting to hear the other side. Because like you said, even for me, I'd never put myself in that position. So I didn't know the thoughts of everybody out there. But a lot of it was gratitude. Not kundipa sando kuti, oh my gosh, you were hard on a government minister. No. It was more just, geez, thanks for really pressing for an answer. Because I think that, not to take away anything from some journalists, but a lot of the journalists will ask a question. And if it's not answered, they'll move on. So it's not that they don't ask the questions. It's that they don't get the answers. So they are content with saying, well, I asked and he didn't reply. Or I asked and you saw how he replied. I listen. And if I've asked a question, and I'm not doing it for TV. Like, I mean it, because genuinely what I'm asking you has got to do with the next question, or it's got to do with the bigger picture. So if I don't get an answer, I will press for it until I get it. And sometimes that's where I'm misconstrued for being a pit bull or, mowing people down or being too aggressive, because it's actually irritating. Imagine if I kept asking you the same question over and over again in a different language.
Dan, will you go out with me? Dan, will you go out with me?
In different English. Huh? Which is about you did? No. Or I was kupindura. I'm also a human being, so naturally I might come across as aggressive because I feel like it's insulting for anybody of any office to come in, whether they are a minister, whether they're a businessman, no matter who you are, you've agreed to come on this national and international platform to speak on something that we have honored you enough and respected you enough to hear your opinion. Then you come here and you can't either A, articulate yourself, B, tell the truth, or C, simply answer the question. So I feel like it's offensive. It means is stupid. No, seriously. What? I mean, whoa, Have some respect. People are genuinely listening to you because you hold an office. And we need the answers from that office. And you are the spokesperson. If you didn't want to come, it's better you just said no. But don't come here with an expectation, thinking that you're going to get what it is that you want from this interview. It's not your interview. You're a guest. Simple.
Put some respect on her name, fam.
Yeah, but so that's how I think. And I get aggressive, this, it's fine. Then again, we're all different and to each their own. Yeah.
Okay. I think as a follow-up to what Dan asked, when he was what he was trying to allude to earlier on in the interview is, do you feel that because you are who you are able to ask those tough questions without the fear of the let's say hypothetical reprisal? Not to say that it's a possibility, but just in the unlikely event that a journalist might ask a tough question and they may or may not be threatened because of such a question. Do you feel that you have been insulated or been protected from that blowback because of who you are?
I don't know. Ignorantly, I'd like to say no. If there are systems out there and greater powers that are protecting me, then I'm grateful to them, but I don't know about them, explicitly. But, implicitly, there's a definite, how do I put it? Right now, both you and Dan know for a fact that because of the levels of complexity in our political landscape and the said factions, no, I don't get away with it. If anything, I complicate my father's life. Because sometimes if I'm hard on somebody, it'll look like he sent me. You understand? Mm-hmm. Or worse off, that our current, the people that, the man that people believe runs ZFM, right? Who was the founder of this institution, but no longer works here. Mm. So I'm in a position where if I'm hard on a particular government official, it'll look like a game or some kind of factionalist attack because of who my father is and who my former boss was. So if anything, no, it does not shield me. It puts me in an even hotter pot and the people closer to me politically. So it's actually the most difficult environment to maneuver because there's no winning. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So that's why I always just say, keep it professional. Ask everybody who steps in the same question, be it Morgan Trangirai, be it Ivan Mawarire, be it Walter Chidakwa. You ask them the same questions. Yo, Minister Chidakwa, where's the 15 billion? I don't know, but you're lying. Where's the 15 billion? Mr. Trangirai, why are you still not resigning? You're just like Mugabe, clearly. If you feel that he has held on to power for this long, so have you. Isn't it time to give somebody else a chance to win an election for the opposition. So there's no being nice. So I just try and keep it professional, that you treat everybody the same. But of course, we all have bad days. There are days where interviews do get a bit emotional. And I know the days that I have gotten a bit emotional, where I went on the other side of professional to overly aggressive because of emotions. And it happens. And I'm not proud of them. But they're learning curves. What can you do? Yeah.
Which highlights of interviews do you remember over the happy 2 years, I guess, that you were doing high-profile interviews?
The happy ones.
Well, it doesn't have to be happy, just the highlights, the maybe the really bad ones or the really good ones.
Someone like Chiongo was fun to interview. I mean, it's him. There was no political malice involved, and he was running for Z for president. So that was nice because it was also a very topical subject. I did not know how big football was for Zimbabweans, guys, until that day. I'm oblivious to that world because I watch soccer here and there, but I'm not in the world of local football. So that was dope. He's just a character, you know by any chance he's going to say something entertaining, and that's him.
He's a good friend of Phil.
Mm.
Phil,
Yes.
is Phil your okay?
Yes.
So,
Well, when you write a song about him, you kind of befriend him, in a certain way.
Phil Chiangwa, do my level. Yeah, that was a collaboration, African hip hop blog and Junior Brown and Rhymes. Phil is African hip hop blog.
no freaking way.
So it's actually Phil's
Phil
song, yeah.
Phil Chiangwa, do my levels. So do you feel like Philip Chiangwa is like a level?
Well, he certainly has levels to him. That is without a doubt.
Basically.
I mean, for those that attended the launch party, they're gonna attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. You weren't there, were you?
No, I wasn't
No,
there.
shame.
I don't know where
you
I was.
missed out.
I don't
It was
even know.
quite the event. Anyway,
Yeah.
Phil Chiangwa, I remember that. I listened to that one. That was interesting.
Yeah. Who else? Professor Jonathan Moyo.
But of course.
Just because, it's actually fun interviewing somebody who you can be hard on in quotation marks, but who can handle it and who knows that it's not personal. That for me is a very candid and good interview because you get the most out of your guest. There's some that already come, they're combative, like what's chi, and Minister Dokora, and what ofunga udara, msad matombodi kuti une agenda, happy, good, they would be the unpolitical ones, because the politics is always tense. You can never take that away. Never. Yeah.
All right.
And of course, the final one.
Let's talk about the last two ones, actually.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the one with AC Lumumba. Lumumba. That one was I think that one was a very talked about interview because I think it was one of those where it went slightly past just professional. Yes or no?
Look, yes. Yeah. I'd say.
Why?
Because he is somebody that I know and somebody that I've worked with. And I felt that even he went past professional in his answers. And I could tell what was red when he said blue. And it was winding me up.
Was he lying?
I don't want to make allegations about him now. I mean, that's really water under the bridge. And him and I, as friends and colleagues, have spoken about that interview because it did, ruffle up our relationship a little bit because of the outcome of it. Where, some were Team Ruvi, some were Team Lumumba. It seemed like we were at war against each other. And, unfortunately, I had so much information I had before the interview that I would have wanted to put on the table. But he wasn't being cooperative in his answers. And he was also caught off guard by the second guest that was put on the show last minute, which was not what him and I had agreed. And, it's just the way that the whole interview happened. I don't blame him for also being very, very edgy. So I think the combination of him almost kuramwa pakati pe interview kuti kana zviri zvo wakuda kuita Ruvheneko, then, he actually didn't want to be there. He had walked out 5 minutes before the interview, which is why we started the show 15 minutes late, because his reservations were, look, hang on, I did not know that this lady was going to be here. You are ambushing me. You're the host of the show. You and I spoke and we said we're doing A-B. There's now C in the mix. How did that happen? So that was one fire to put out with him. And then, of course, the contentious issue of the indigenization and, his being kicked off that board and, the information that I knew, right, behind the scenes versus what he had tabled to me. It was a very complicated interview to conduct, and it only would take somebody who was either him or myself to understand it, which is why he and I could forgive each other because we knew the environment surrounding us. It was difficult to separate issues that day. And in retrospect, when he walked out of the studio at 7:25, I should have just let him go. I should not have done that interview. It did him no favors. It did me no favors. And to be fair, we didn't even get to call Meatbox, So, I mean, look, there's some things that you just look back and you're like, well.
There is a silver lining, I guess, because I got people talking about you. Mostly negative stuff, but still,
That's not a silver lining, Dan. It's not nice when people listen to one interview of you, one interview out of the possible 200 you've done over 4 years. Then they judge you for that one day because that's the day they decided to tune in. Then they decide Ruvheneko must go back to journalism school, something like that. And for me to go and explain my case to the whole world, they don't even deserve that because of how they treat me. If people just asked me straight up, yo, Ruvi, that was unlike you. What happened that night? Please understand, I'd answer the question. But I went through all those tweets. Not one person chose to ask me straight up what happened. Everyone comes up with their conclusions. Everyone thinks that they're in my head. Everyone thinks that they own ZFM. So I was like, you know what? You don't actually deserve an explanation. Stuff happened. It was a bad day in the office. And I know that I'm not supposed to admit that, and it's very unprofessional and all of that. But I'm human enough to admit that and say, if I could do it again, I definitely would do it differently.
Okay, I think maybe I have a generally different view to everyone else. A heated interview is a good interview. I mean,
but heated in what sense, Dan?
I get a lot of people's frustration, I guess, was the fact that it seemed to be getting personal as opposed to a rational discussion of answers to questions and so on. But at the same time, when emotions are involved, that's when people say things. And I mean, you don't want to unnecessarily rile someone up. But I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm looking at it more from an entertainment perspective, that it was very entertaining.
Well, I think we are an entertainment radio station, so I guess in that front, I get what you're saying, Dan. I do. But when it tarnishes your credibility and reputation as a professional like myself, you understand? And in our industry, they say you're as good as your last interview. And at that time, that was my last interview. So for a while after that, until the next great one or whatever, that's your reputation. Some were happy, by the way, because some people have other dealings with AC that made them feel like he deserved every minute of that interview and how I treated him. But I wouldn't want to ride on that and say because he deserved it. It's not like that. I think I'd like to maintain who I am and my professionalism.
Did you see AC on that interview with Comrade Fatso this week?
Yes, I did watch that. Yeah, completely different style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, completely. Sometimes you just need to add humor to it, I guess,
Hey, I guess.
What?
I found that interview very humorous.
It was funny. It was hilarious.
Lisa was it was just great. It was great. Great.
Anyway.
Yeah. So...
Okay, cool. Phil, you have any questions about that AC interview, or we can go into the...
I don't know. I think Ruvi touched on it because it was very clear from my point of view that it got a little personal.
Yeah.
Because like when I first tuned in, it was like, "Oh, this is hard hitting, fam. Like she's not pulling any punches." And I'm like, "Wait, whoa. Is that necessary? Okay, whoa."
Yeah. It was
one
of
damn
those.
funny.
It was one of those.
Shame. All right, but then let's go on to the main one. Your final
there's Calvin Jakachira and my Makore outside. Hey guys, how are you?
So you had an interview with Ivan Mawere, who came through. I'll just tell you what we, and by we I mean the general populace, know. Okay. So
What do you mean? You know the general populace.
I'm going to speak from obviously I know a little bit extra, but just from what's visible, and you can also correct me if I'm wrong. So here was this interview. We'll get into details of it later. It was a relatively hard-hitting interview. Well, from your end, that is. And then a lot of people felt that the purpose of that interview was to discredit Ivan. To be 100% honest, I don't know why people think that, having listened to that interview several times. I don't know why.
I can see why they think that.
They thought that before the interview, or they still think that?
A lot of people think that the whole purpose of that interview was, right, this guy thinks he's got something going on, so let's try and cut him down to size. Okay? Secondly, I think the main reason for that is the inclusion of your extra guest in the studio. Now, from the outside, this is what happened. So there was this interview. There was a certain Snapchat video that leaked as well after that. Afterwards...
It's not a leak if it's uploaded, damn.
Oh, leaking because...
Snapchat is not a downloadable platform.
Yeah.
That it was a leak. The way that was done, Nechigunwe. I mean, please, Phil, let's be very honest.
Okay, if you put it that way, yes.
Yeah, and then, so there was this Snapchat video, obviously, and there were statements that were put out, both by ZFM and by yourself in interviews and on social media and so on. So it looked like this interview happened. Something was forced on you. You were trying to get word out, but you were quickly shut down. And that's what it looked like from the outside. Obviously, would like to know from the one who was actually handling the interview how that happened and the aftermath. As much as you can feel like you're free to say, don't look at me like you want to stab me. I just mean like, whatever you feel you can do. Hey, Peggy. The head of Mighty Movies. Her name's Peggy Mvududu. Lovely, lovely lady.
Yeah. No, to be honest, Dan, the current events that happened after that interview are exactly what have landed me off air up until this point. So let's put it as though this is a court case that's still pending. And I'm not happy talking about the intricate details. The nice thing is that the truth always finds its way to the top. Always. It'll always come out. And I'm not worried about that, because anybody with a brain knows what happened without me even explaining to anybody what happened. What is unfortunate is that I tried to now defend myself as an individual as opposed to defend my institution. And that's where the conflict lies. So I can leave it there for now and just say it's a very, very contentious issue, and I can't say I'm happy with the outcome of it. I think that some things could have been better handled, both by myself and the institution. But I still work here, and I'm in a programming officer role, programming manager role, where I got that role given to me, that promotion. It's definitely a promotion end of last year, which is 2015. And this then happened on the 14th of May. And, so now I'm focusing on that role.
Okay.
So I'm still here, and I don't want to say anything more, because, to put it loosely, it's landed me in a lot of trouble to speak out. So I'd rather not. I think the institution can speak when it's ready about what really happened. But I don't know if it's my mess to clean up, because that idea of me seeing myself as an individual when I fall under this umbrella is exactly why I'm here. So let me not separate myself from my employer and respect that and say I'm still part of this institution. I still want the best for the station and everybody who works here. And I'll do what I can to make sure every show that comes out on air sounds as good as it can, and we leave it at that for now.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about the aftermath then. Let's talk about the
Before
interview
we even
itself.
do that, like, how many times did Ruby rehearse that speech, fam?
I know, right? It's like you can't see she's reading right now, actually.
I am Ruvheneko Parirenyatwa. Would like to apologize for my
Henceforth we-
statements earlier this week.
It's so silly.
Okay, no, but I mean, like, but the actual interview itself, let's talk about that. I mean, that seems relatively safe. Oh, come on.
You know, if there was one day I was mad that Mighty Movies wasn't there to film an interview, because they film all of my interviews, by the way, all the high profile interviews. We have them on record. We'll put them on YouTube in due time. Okay. But that one, like Peggy, to this day, I just look at it, I'm like, you have no idea. Like, in terms of how electric the studio was, you know? I mean, it was, forget, the aftermath and all of that. I mean, as an interview, as content for television, for radio, I mean, there was a time both of them were standing up. Like, not kuti pacharoa munu, but it felt like it, you know, and it looked like it. But it was just the intensity of which they were both trying to put their points across. The passion that Pastor E had, the resilience that Musarara had, you know, it was genuinely a sight, you know. I mean, geez.
Resilience is an interesting word to use. But anyway.
Whatever, you know.
It's okay.
So I genuinely wish it was captured, you know. Unfortunately, we can never relive that, but it's done. It's in my memory. And being
the
in there
audio
was,
gave quite a bit. I mean,
no, you have no idea. You have no idea. Imagine if Pastor E's videos were all audio. It's not the same. When he was describing that flag, this yellow, it's not the same. But anyway, I think maybe there's a reason why God had it that day, that Havanakuya, and they didn't record that. You know, everything happens for a reason. I think I was but madiro angu, you know, we won't interview you because it would have put a lot into perspective. But anyway, here we are. So it was definitely a lot, and they were so charged, those men, that it was not an easy interview to conduct in terms of control. It was definitely, like, for me as a journalist, I mean, any journalist would want that kind of panel any day, because it makes for good conversation above everything, and you get the truth out. There's nothing better than a guest that's willing to tell the truth. The guarded guests are so boring. You know, you can tell that they're calculating and that they're reading their mission and vision statement. As an organization, we pride ourselves in, and then as they turn the page, in giving our, come on, you know. So the candid, honest, passionate, from the heart interviews are just the best, and you can feel it, and you almost don't want that hour to end. That when it does, you're like, wow, really? So yeah, it was definitely one of my favorite interviews to do because of how honest people were in there. Definitely.
Yeah, it was quite a electric interview, especially on social media.
Yeah, that's another thing, you know. I checked my Twitter at some point. I could not read them because, you know, when you check your notifications, I got to lose that track because but anyway, I guess that's also training of my producer, you know, that we need to be able to help each other, because there have been a lot of interviews where we've sort of missed out on a lot of online content because of the inability to manage the influx of the messages that come in. So that was definitely a shortfall on our part, but, you know, platform days. So,
would you say the general feedback from the public after that interview was that it was a good interview or a bad interview?
It depends who you are. The hashtag this flag movement thought it was perfect. They thought that that's actually what made him bigger at that time, right? Before they arrested him. You know, they were like, well, this has definitely put him on the map. You know, firstly, what shades were, you know, platform na Ruvheneko, which means you're obviously somebody to reckon with or that we should pay attention to. So what did he? And the way he held his own in that interview gave him a lot more, I guess, credibility, because a lot of these videos are rehearsed. You see that from the performance done by, what's his name? What's that comic pastor? What's his name?
Tencent.
Ba Tencent.
Oh.
Right, at the Ankansime show.
And shots fired.
No, it's not a shot fired. I'm being very specific.
I will happily fire shots.
No, because it just shows you that some people are better rehearsed and some people are better live.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody like Pastor E who's trying to start a movement, if your videos are rehearsed and you sound good only when you're on your Facebook page, maybe this is take 5. And you sound good because you've rehearsed it 4 times. Whereas if you're live and you can still capture people and still capture the hearts of those that you want to, that says a lot about who you are. And then you've got, of course, Mr. Msarara, who, some would say he also tried to defend the party as a, political analyst and all of that, the party being ZANU-PF. So it depends who was listening for them to say that was a good interview. So the feedback was very mixed, but most of the This Flag followers were very happy with it because he held his own. And then, of course, man of the match was... we have a Hector, and
Woman
then
of the match, really.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then for myself, the feedback is always mixed. I've learned, Dan, you can never please everybody. But I would have done nothing different about that interview. Not a second. I wouldn't have done anything differently. So rate me on that.
I don't like saying nice things about you, but personally, I thought that was a good interview.
Yes, I actually
Thank you,
do.
Dan.
Firstly, before I compliment you, let me just say you used the word political analyst very loosely. we need to address that. But besides that,
Like I said,
it was a very good
hello?
interview.
It was a good interview.
But the funny thing is, I found myself being in a weird position because as I was discussing it on Twitter, there are a lot of people in my mentions too, which I think just shows like how polarizing that interview was. Like people were in my mentions like how can you defend Ruvi? She did this, she did that. I'm like, but
what did I do though?
But do you guys understand how interviews work? Like their major concern was why would you invite Musarara? And my point is, do you guys watch any form of media today? Everyone knows that in media, especially if you're trying to have a balanced debate, quote unquote balanced debate, no matter where it is, CNN, BBC, whatever it may be. If it's a debate, you're going to have point and you're going to have the counterpoint. You can't have someone just come and echo their views.
Phil, unotopenga ukaedza kutsanangura zvese zviro imwe level isinganzwisiswe nemunhu wese.
I'll give you an example.
So you can't.
You asked what did I do? The one thing I saw a lot of on Twitter was, for example, you asked Ivan, you asked him, okay, so your plan with the whole This Flag movement is to get people to show at the time, a lot of it was very social media based. There was no talk of demonstrations or going out in the streets or whatever. At the time, it was mostly put your stuff on your Facebook, put on your Twitter and so on. And then you ask, then what? The number of people are, hey, how can Ruvheneko be so ignorant? Why? How can she ask, then what? I was like, well, that's a very valid question.
I will still ask you today on the 14th of September 2016, then what?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very valid question.
Yes. Yeah.
But
I don't understand. People didn't want me to be mean to him because he was the golden boy at the time. It's like, don't touch him. Oh my gosh.
Don't touch the anointed one.
Yes, he is blessed. He's our savior. He's our Moses. And I'm like, oh man, at the end of the day, he's Pastor E though. His name is Ivan Maware and he's doing this thing. So before we all get excited about it,
I think also maybe a lot of people maybe took it wrong, almost as if it was like, what's the point of what you're doing? Then what? But I mean, that's not what it was.
No, I guess it sounded like that, but I hope I didn't use a flippant tone. I think I was always like, okay, but
she didn't.
Then what? You know?
She was very even keeled. I mean, let's be honest.
I think so.
Let's don't worry, Ruvheneko. This is the part where you can plead plausible deniability. But let's be honest. The masses of Zimbabweans on Twitter are dumb, and they're very analog in their views.
May it go on record that these are the views of Phil.
Okay, not of Dennis, not of Ruvheneko. But you know what? I have seen a lot of dumb tweets. Let's not call the people dumb. Let's call the tweets dumb.
They have dumb opinions.
I think I've tweeted dumb things too. But look,
yes,
and I get you. And you can't level. You can't level with people on Twitter. You either decide to, it's a fight or fly, right? You just decide that day, if I feel like this is nonsense, nonsense upon stilts, I will just say, look, guys, what I meant was, but please know that the minute you do that, be prepared to engage. Crouch, touch, pause, engage. So, yeah.
All right, look, guys, I need to play with my new laptop. So, my new second-hand laptop. I need to delete the profile of the person who owned this previously.
Do they have the same web history as you, Dan? Did you just feel right at home?
No, I need to scratch out the serial number. I'm just kidding. I bought this legit, everyone. Please stop sending police to my home.
That means you have a home, which is highly unlikely.
Whatever. Wow. Look, Ruvheneko, we appreciate your coming through.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I always used to see you guys interview people, and I was like, when will I ever be cool enough to be two Broke Twimbos?
We've Did we?
You've
no,
never invited
no,
me.
We actually wanted to invite you
ever have you invited me?
We wanted to invite you as a trio.
Oh.
We're gonna call it the magazine cover episode. It was gonna be you, Lo, and Miss Red.
Oh, like to 2013 stuff, right? I get it.
Yeah, that was back then, but
No,
yeah,
I
then.
get it. Oh, but yeah, you never invited me, so I'm glad. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Dan. It's actually nice to just chat, and I think you know, a lot has been said here and has not been said, but I'd like to just say I don't always get the opportunity to say what really is as it is. So thank you for that platform.
You're welcome for the platform.
Thank you for the platform. You are appreciated. No, mate, tabasa. I am so.
I mean, Dan. I mean, this is why we win awards, Dan.
Really, this is why
Basically.
we're the number one podcast in the country. Really,
Really.
right? Ruvheneko has to go. I think at this point we can simply remind everyone to subscribe. If you're hearing this for the first time, we have a whole bunch of episodes. We've got 80 plus episodes, I think, available on iTunes, available on YouTube, SoundCloud, any podcast downloading or RSS feed app that you can find. You can find us there, Stitcher, etc., etc. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on everything, really.
Yeah.
We're also on Viber, by the way. It's Viber Public Chats. It's a new feature. If you have Viber on your phone, just look for Public Chats. Two Broke Twimbos is one of the partners that are on there, so look for that. And thank you, Ruvheneko.
Thank
on
you.
Twitter at Ruvheneko
P. Yes. Thank you so much again. I can't wait to hear it back. I hate hearing myself, but this one has more of you guys, so I'll be curious to hear how it sounded. So thank you. I hope it doesn't get me into any trouble.
We didn't really say anything, so you're fine.
Well, you know what?
If anything, we're in the spotlight now.
With clever cutting and editing, we can get her to say certain things. Yeah, no, we'll just...
Shot him.
I'm on to you guys. I dare you. Thank you so much, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. All right, we are out of here. Philip.
Yes, I think what do you think we need to talk about is Shoko, then. We haven't discussed Shoko.
Oh, but while you do that, I'm going to just sign out. Be good.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you can't be good,
It's all good, Ruby.
be safe.
Wait.
Sip it out. Stay safe.
Wait, say it again.
Huh?
Say it again, because Phil was disturbing you.
Oh, okay. I was saying, but thank you again. Good night for now. Be good. And if you can't be good, be safe.
Shame. She really misses that, huh? Hold on, Phil. Let me just let out. Yes. We're saying Shoko Festival.
Yes, it's coming up. Apparently, they cannot afford to fly me back to Zim, so...
Oh, yeah. So and then I was told, that I'll do it solo. And then I said, so does that mean I can get Phil's share of the money? And then they laughed at me. So doesn't look like it. But yeah, I'll be emceeing solo on the Friday night. Very excited. I don't have you to hold me back, Phil.
Of course. I might still come to Zim. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm not coming.
Shoko Festival, the 23rd to the 25th of September. It's going to be lit. We got AKA on the Friday night. I actually have to, which days, I know the acts, but I didn't check which days are which. We'll have Winky D, Amara Brown. It's going to be lit, really. It's just going to be a great experience. I love Shoko Festival every year.
That's great. Also want to give a shout out to Jidena for giving us a riveting performance here in Joburg. He and I connected after the show, and it was good. It was a good experience.
What did he do after 3 minutes of doing Classic Man? Then
he actually did like 30 minutes. So he did Classic Man. He did Chief Don't Run. He did Long Live the Chief.
A little bit more.
He did a few songs off his upcoming album. He engaged with the crowd. It was lit, man. It was lit. I got some great photos. If you guys haven't seen them, head on over to africanhhp.com. I got them there. They're also on my Twitter, so be sure to check those out. But yeah, it was a great show. Also met up with YC.
Ooh, I saw YC recently. It was on the episode I was watching Boiti on Ridiculousness Africa.
Yeah. So he was down for that and a few other things. I'm linked up with him. Then he invited me to a video shoot for his latest video. So you might see a cameo from yours truly.
Sorry, I was just closing the door tightly. I don't have much else to talk about, really.
I think it's pretty much it.
I've got one thing to talk about.
Oh, what's that?
The African Women Awards.
This does not sound problematic at all.
Why?
Carry on.
No, the African Women Awards. They're when is it going to be? I can't remember the date. close to the end of this year. I think it's okay. I can't remember the exact date, but it's close to the end of this year. So I'm a bit excited about that, because we celebrate women. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not be involved some way or somehow. I'm still in talks. I would like to be involved, just to show my support.
Wait, these are the African Women Awards.
Yeah, remember we had I think we had an article about it last year. Lisa Chiriseri and Carol Nyazika, the founders of it.
I'm familiar with the awards. I'm just saying it's the African Women Awards.
Yes, I know.
And you are not a woman.
I'm not saying I'm the one getting awarded. I'm just saying I'd like to show my support.
By doing what?
I don't know. However I can help. So I'm just mentioning it now because I don't have anything concrete yet. But I just wanted to mention it, that the African Women Awards are going to be at the end of this year. And they're going to be in Zim. But I believe as of next year, they're going to be rotating African countries. So it's very impressive that they managed to get this much hype the first year. And now they're going into their second year running. And that's dope. So a couple of years, it might be like the biggest thing people talking about at the end of the year in Africa. So you never know.
Okay. Besides that, I don't think there's much else. Oh, South Park is premiering. Yes. Look forward to South Park.
All right. On that note, I think we can end this. It was a pretty good episode, I think. Ruvheneko on her way out was saying, I hope I don't get into any trouble. But I think she'll be fine. She kept it safe while answering a lot of questions that some people may have had. Yeah. Hit her up on her Twitter and stuff if you want to ask further questions, but I don't know if she'll answer you.
I think that's pretty much it, guys. Just keep it locked to Broke Twimbos. Zip it up, zip it out. Follow us on Twitter, Danny That Guy, Phil Chart, to Broke Twimbos for everything else, and stay safe.
Yeah.
And if you can't be safe, then I don't know. We need to work on this.
Yeah.
If you can't be safe, buy a rave.
Or we can steal Delani's line. He used to say, "Be good. If you can't be good at it."
Okay, that's a very common one. There is the other one. There's what's his name? Shady Lurker.
Yeah.
On 5FM. He says, "Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it home." That was a great phrase, It's not sexist or anything. It's just great.
All right. On that note, we out of here, man.
We broke.